Chapter 5, Weapons, page 20. Grandma's apartment had one bedroom with one bed, which she and Nia shared. I slept on the living room couch. On most mornings, Grandma left to clean houses before we woke up. After breakfast, Nia and I washed the dishes and put them in the rack to dry. On TV, people had kitchens with dishwashers and bathrooms with showers, but all we had were sinks and a bathtub. Sometimes I go into the bathtub and find Grandma on her knees, washing clothes in the tub. There had once been washing machines in the basement of our building, but they'd been broken so often the city took them out. Outside, Terrell and Lightbulb were waiting for me in the yard. In the spot where Darnell fell, someone had stuck a small wooden cross in the dirt with candles and bunches of flowers around it. The yellow crime scene tape lay twisted and trampled on the ground. The three of us stared at the cross without speaking. Then Lightbulb said, "You got that Snickers bar?" I gave it to him, and he tore it open while we walked to school. Terrell turned the bill of his cap to the right and stuck in his gold earring. Ahead of us, Nia and her boyfriend LaRue waited on the sidewalk. They were in 8th grade. LaRue was slim with light chocolate skin and almond-shaped eyes, as if he had some Asian blood. His thick black hair was long with lots of loose dreadlocks. The bill of his cap was turned to the right, and a black bandana poked out of his back pocket. "Terrell," he called, "come here." My best friend practically bounded over. He didn't have those cool, slow moves yet like the older guys. He and LaRue went behind some parked cars. When they came back, Terrell was arranging the front of his hoodie. "What'd he give you?" I asked when we started walking again. Terrell told Lightbulb to get lost. Our friend hunched his shoulders like his feelings were hurt, then went off. Terrell opened the pocket of his hoodie just enough for me to see the gray handle of a box cutter inside. "Are you whack?" I hissed. "I'm just going to take it inside and give it back to him," Terrell said. "They find it, you'll get expelled," I said. "And what do you think LaRue's going to do with it in school?" Terrell shrugged as if he didn't care. "All I know is he said he'd put in a good word for me to Marcus." He took out his asthma inhaler. He seemed to need it whenever he got nervous or excited. Lightbulb joined us again, and we continued to school. Washington Carver was on the border between Frederick Douglass and the Gentry Street project. To the school's builders, that must have made sense, because kids from both projects could go to it. But the location also put the school in the middle of the war zone between the disciples and the gangsters. Like a jail, our school had metal bars on all the doors and windows and a tall metal fence that circled the grounds. The 6th graders went in a different entrance than the 7th and 8th graders, whose bags were scanned and bodies were sometimes searched. The 6th graders were rarely searched. At the 6th grade entrance stood Ms. Rodriguez, the assistant principal, as ancient as the history in our history books. Her short hair was completely white, and she was all wrinkled skin and gristle. Her job in the morning was to make sure only kids who went to Washington Carver entered, and not any troublemakers from someplace else. While we waited to go in, Terrell began wheezing again. He took out his inhaler and breathed in deeply. Then it was our turn. At the doorway, Ms. Rodriguez narrowed her eyes at my friend, whose hands were both jammed into the pockets of his hoodie. "What have you got there, Terrell?" she asked.